Yo, what's going on, Mayvizzle fans, voyeurs, peeping toms? Fuck you doing here watching me? Stop looking at my ugly face. Oh, you came here to watch my guest. We got Caljack on tonight, motherfucker. He's been running around doing all sorts of crazy shit. He's off the hook, man. He's at Bloodsport kicking ass. Last weekend he was kicking ass. He beat Money, Power, Respect, Savage Tag Team with the Glamazon. Pollo Del Mar, I'm looking at you. You know I love you, baby. And I gotta introduce with no further ado, I bring to you the man himself, the grizzly bear himself, Caljack. What's going on, dude?
Dude, hell of an intro. Glad you talked about my match this past weekend. I really appreciate that. And I give props to Money, Power, Respect, and Pollo Del Mar. They're quite a team, and it was a lot of fun going against them.
Yeah, they're hell of a tag team, you know, like bigger dudes doing a lot of like faster action, and that's what you're all about. Like you got that pop. You don't go for that cheap pop, you know, those big heavy slams, that kind of shit. You can do all that, but you're flipping around like, here, I'll throw this shit up right here. If anybody that doesn't know who Caljack is, you better fucking recognize, because check this shit out right here. Where is it? I think this is it right here. Oh, where the fuck did it go? Damn, I just hella had it.
Oh, you have clips.
Yeah, I got
excited to see.
Oh man, this is the one that you just shared. I was rolling because you called out Kid Bandit in it. You were like,
yeah,
do some shit like this. That shit had me dying, man. I was
that
like,
little boy
for real.
always shares his little clips. So it's like, okay, I got some stuff too, kid. You're not alone. You know.
Yeah, I was tripping. I'm like, holy shit, he moves like a fucking ninja, man. Like
when I need to move, I can move. That's, I pride myself in that.
Right here, this shit is off the hook.
He was trying to hit me. I'm like, no way. I'm gonna duck that.
And then off the back, bam, that's crazy, man. That energy that you carry with you, you know, being a larger dude, like that is something that is oh shit, there you go. That is something that fucking, you know, is really rare when it comes to like heavyweight matches. And speaking of weight, I mean, fuck, dude, I'm all over the place with this shit. But you know, you used to be like, you know, college wrestler, like you always had to be at a certain weight, like doing that. So it's like, now, do you walk around hella fucking heavier than you used to?
That's a really good question, because in college wrestling, and keep in mind, I was a broke college kid, so it wasn't like I was scarfing down a bunch of food, and we're working out like shit, dude. It was like 2 hours in the morning and 3 hours in the afternoon, while trying to maintain an education all at the same time. I mean, the room to eat was very, very small. And a lot of the times what you ate between that morning practice and that afternoon practice would affect your afternoon practice. So I was trying to think of what I was going to eat. So keeping weight on was not a thing you could do with how hard, how many calories you're burning throughout the day. So I was, being a bigger guy. I was roughly, my freshman year, I was like 230-ish. And then I grew a little bit, like 240-ish, my sophomore and junior year. And then my senior year kind of settled down at the right weight at 260-ish, maybe 270. But now that I'm not a college athlete and I can actually pick and choose the times I want to eat and how much I want to eat, I'm sitting at a solid 295 right now, which is a very comfortable weight for me. So pretty big right now.
Yeah, that's lit, man. Like being able to do that, you know, as a pro wrestler, and it adds to the, I mean, shit, man, the bigger you can be and move like that, that's the package right there that you're delivering, you know? Like you're doing a lot of indie wrestling right now, and you know, I love fucking indie wrestling. Like I feel like that's where the real storytelling is at right now. Like, I mean, you got like the bigger promotions and shit doing their thing, but like, you know, because I went to UGWA. Now it's a total trip, because I went to UGWA. It was my first indie match I had ever gone to. I've seen it on
really
TV. Yeah, I
wow
seen Hood Slam. I've watched it on, you know, on IWTV, but it's really different being there. and I actually walked in. So I go in. You've been to the Ritz at Ugwa? Have you seen that
Well, yeah,
venue?
that's I just did Agua maybe like a month or so, a couple months ago, and that's when I took on Big Juicy Fion. You know,
I I missed your match that night. I fucking
yeah, I was
yeah.
we were the last match, so if you stuck around, you would have saw.
I know.
But
I
no
heard
worries.
about it. Did you
Yeah,
guys have a
yeah,
beer at the end too? Like
we
fucking
did. Yeah, we shared a beer. It was nice.
what a trip, man. Yeah, like
Yeah.
I walked in that night. I saw Anthony Rivera fucking and he was doing the Devil Daddy his
Oh, you
Devil
must have went
Daddy
to a
gimmick.
different show then. That
It
must have been a different one.
it might have been the one right before, the month
Yeah,
before.
because I Riv, I just saw Riv today, so that was definitely another show.
Yeah.
Because he wasn't at that one that I was at.
So I know
So
yeah, Juicy's finished like the last 3. The very last one he was with Sledge. So it might have been the one
mm,
prior to
okay,
Urban Legends, I think might have been the one.
that must have been the one before. That was probably
Or
the one before.
yeah, because I
Um,
also saw. Wait, did you wrestle the night when Tony Vargas wrestled Big Baby Powder?
I've seen those guys wrestle a lot.
Yeah,
That match was brutal. Yeah, hey, people need to stop sleeping on Tony Vargas. I'm just gonna say that right now. That guy does. He was a former college football player. He trains in MMA and he does death matches. I mean, give a guy a break for crying out loud. The guy works his ass off.
yeah, it was
So
a trip, man. He took the
yeah,
arrow to the room that night. I was like,
sure,
holy
sure,
shit,
yeah.
you
He don't
know.
give a fuck.
Yeah,
You
he's a
know,
beast. And
he
and
is a
with that
beast.
heel character, he's one of
Mm-hmm.
those like real heels, like fucking some people want to see him in the parking lot type heel. You know what I mean? Like,
He's a man. He's not like the common man, but he's he carries himself like I don't give a fuck what you look like or what you've done. I'm gonna treat you the way I want to treat you, and that's where I give props to Tony Vargas. He's gone against a lot of really good wrestlers. He's had a lot of his ups and downs because he had an early retirement, and then he came back, and then now he's just kind of starting to get back up again in the pro wrestling scene. So I really respect Tony Vargas.
yeah, he's a trip, man. Would you ever wrestle him or work him?
I wrestled him before.
Yeah.
Him and I wrestled at East Bay, and it was a fun match. I wish there were more eyes that saw it, and I know if we went at it now, we'd kill it. And he wants to do blood sport for sure.
Damn.
So it's like if like the right eyes can get on him, if he can have just one of those breakthrough moments, I guarantee more people will catch on to how good he really is. I mean, he is really, really good. He's been doing this for a long time.
Yeah. Yeah, that
So
dude's a fucking trip, man. I like
yeah,
when I
yeah.
see him, it's crazy. And he doesn't bleed really too for doing death matches. He's just got thick ass skin because I've
He
seen
he must. He's got thick skin. Yeah.
thumbtacks to the face, all that crazy shit.
Mm-hmm.
But that first event I walked into and I saw Anthony Rivera, coming out and doing the Devil Daddy thing, and
Yep.
I was like, what the fuck did I just walk into? Like, it was so strange. You go in there, it's all dark, and I saw that. I didn't know what I was going to. I was invited to a wrestling event, and I was like, dude, this is awesome. Like, this reminds me of like when I was a kid watching like Attitude Era type shit. Just it's written well. It's a great story. It's got fucking, crazy talent for just being at, this club out here. And then I really started looking deeper into indies at that time. Like I met, some other people that turned me on to more, promotions, GCW, ICW, all these different promotions, and like even Hood Slam has fantastic storytelling. And how do you feel like, as far as storytelling versus you know, the highest promotion, or not the highest promotions, but like the top promotions in the US where there's only so many positions and like a really like formulated product?
I think it depends. It depends on a couple things. It depends on the promotion and if they keep recycling the same guys, but they recycle the same guys with a purpose of telling that story. Like Hood Slam will use the same guys like majority of the time, but then they will bring in a big name here and there to like kind of like push the narrative that they have. So I mean, some wrestlers try to create their own storyline through social media. and that's their way of like kind of bringing their fans along for the ride on like what is their end goal trying to be in the business. And for example, like Ugwa, you know, they Tony Vargas and Baby Powder going at it, and there's a story with that. And then there's also a story of like a hood slam with like the team the Caution or the Stoner Bros and those guys, and with the message they're trying to get across. And you know, so a lot of the time just depends on the promotion. I know, like for example, PPW, they do a really good job of telling the story with Boyce LeGrand holding this title, and eventually the right opponent will come in and take that title, but it's not going to happen without his bad boys being around the corner to, you know, prevent that from happening. So eventually it's like, who's going to be the guy that's going to be triumphant over Boyce LeGrand? We don't know. So that's a pretty cool story because he's held the title for such a long time.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm not sure how familiar you are with like the NorCal wrestling scene, but I mean, there's quite a bit of little stories that the fans have followed along, especially with PPW. You
Yeah, it's a
know,
total trip. Like how, these promotions, they choose their champions well.
yeah,
It's like this
yeah,
person is going to be the face of the promotion.
yeah,
Like and that's something that it's I had Ruthless Lala on the other week from down in Texas, and she was telling me like, there are some people that get the belt and they don't give a shit about it. You know what I mean?
the title's got to mean something. You
Mm-hmm.
know, it's not fair for the wrestlers, nor is it fair for the fans. But it also comes down to who you put the title on and who the promoter and the booker are. Because if you make something a big deal, then it is a big deal. If you don't make something a big deal, then no one wants it. You know, and for example, we look at, you know, the Super Beast shows that we run here in Vegas. Our champion is Steven Tresario. We want Stevie to go as high as he can because we think he's the most talented guy amongst us. You know, he's a hybrid. He can do shoot, he can do high flying, he can do technical. So he can match up well with everybody across the board. And that's what your champion should be able to do. He should be able to match up and compete with anybody that they throw at him. So that's kind of like the goal we have at the compound. We're going to bring in big names, but we're going to bring in guys that's going to challenge our guys to elevate them and to kind of showcase everything we can do, especially Stevie being the main title holder.
Yeah, I see that correlation too. Like Dave Dutra, man, they keep flying everyone out to wrestle him, and he's doing all these crazy ass spots. I think he's going to New Japan. He's going to make a debut over there
Yeah,
too.
he's taking on Brody King. You know, that's a fucking
That's
awesome opponent. You know, and it's one of those things where it's like Dutra's been in the game for such a good long time, and he's had it's like such an up and like he go hard and then take a break and go hard, but now he's so laser focused as the Battle King. Now he has a chance to take on, you know, Brody King, a guy who's done a lot in the business so far on his own, didn't need help going to like WWE or go to like AEW. You know, he went from was able to get on PWG, then get on Ring of Honor, and now he's making a name for himself for New Japan. And now it's Dutra's getting the opportunity to kind of step up his game and take on a really good opponent.
Yeah, that's a trip, man. Imagine
Mm-hmm.
have you ever go to Japan? You haven't yet.
Not yet. I mean, I've always said this, and if anybody wants me, they know how to find me. I'm not hard. I'm just not big on having to do favors and stuff to get a booking. I mean, it's just never been my thing. It's not my kind of deal. I'm not saying guys have done that in the past, but I'm just saying, you know, if somebody wants to use me, they can message me for a booking.
Do you have any like nightmare booking stories or just pain in the ass booking stories?
There's, I mean, I'll say there's one, and it's pretty known that I don't really like this promotion. And so me and my buddy, I'm not gonna say what the promotion is. We drove from Northern California all the way to like Southern Arizona, just straight there.
Yeah.
And we were like, okay, we're gonna do this show. We get there, a lot of people are there, and the promoter's like, oh yeah, you know, I want to make sure a lot of people showed up. So I comped half, like majority of the tickets. It's like, oh, you comped, as in you are just letting people in, they didn't pay, and more or less that's what he said. So Majority of the people there didn't pay tickets to come to the show. And then we do all our matches, we're done, and we're waiting to like get our pay, you know? And we were waiting, and it's like we want to go home. Like we drove all the way down there. We want to go back to California. Like, so we didn't even stay in a hotel or anything. We're just like, we're gonna get our money and get the F out. And then he eventually pays us. And he goes, next time, brother, it'll be a lot more. And we're just like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
Like, are you kidding me? So we like had to fucking tell this guy. We like stopped him, like, hey, you Venmo or PayPal or Cash App the rest of our money right now, because this is fucked up. We drove 20 something hours just for this one show because you promised all this shit. And then you give us this little bush league ass like payout. I'm like, fuck that, dude. So that's kind of like my main, horror show. I mean, I've had some funny bookings where like we wrestled in like a Scientology church, or we wrestled like in a sex dungeon, but like just random shit, dude.
Oh shit.
But there's a ring, there's fans, our
Yeah.
locker room was in a sex dungeon, and it was hilarious. And we're just like, well, just don't touch anything.
Yeah.
So it was it's been a trip, man. Many of flea markets, at lucha shows. And it's part of, it's the fun of the business is where you'll end up for a bunch of Mexican restaurants for lucha stuff. But yeah, that one show where we drove and got nothing. I understand where people are, you gotta pay your dues. Hey man, I'm down to pay my dues, but I've already done that shit at that point, so I don't need to pay no more. And I've heard of way worse stories than that one from other people, but that one sticks out in my mind for the most part.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, shit, you build up your brand. You're fucking people know who you are. You're a draw, and it's like you expect to get what you earned.
For
So
sure.
I totally
Yeah.
feel that, man. So fuck, you're down in you were in Cali for a minute. Now you're down in Vegas.
Yeah, I'm in Vegas. Yep.
Dude, I love Vegas, man. I was just out there. Shit, I went 3 times this year. That's like my
Nice.
place.
Yeah, you got to come to a compound show when
Yeah.
we run.
So I saw you guys were making like a movie or filming. A movie was getting filmed over there. Are you at
Yep.
liberty to speak about that?
All I can say is I don't know when it's released. It was so funny. Super Beast always manages to find the funniest hookups, whether it's a pop up for marijuana, or it's a rap concert, or it's some heavy metal death band shit. I haven't been to one of those, but they have done them in the past. And yeah, they wanted the building to do a movie. It's on Shutter, I think, or where it's like some horror movie app the movie's being filmed for. I have no idea where it's gonna be.
Yeah.
I should have gave him my shoot name, because my shoot name actually does have an IMDb thing, but I gave him my pro wrestling name, but there's nothing attached to it. So I'm like, fuck, I should have given him a different name, or my real name. But yeah, who knows? I think it's campy for sure. So we'll see. It was a fun experience. So I'm looking forward to seeing when that gets released. It was a fun experience.
Yeah, that'll be hella cool. I know. I
Yeah.
seen Anthony Rivera like all juiced about it, and he posted, and I was like, oh shit. I'm like,
I
that's
mean,
fucking.
we technically weren't supposed to share anything online.
Oh, okay.
But Riv just is like, oh, I'm on a movie set. This is so cool. I get killed. Blah 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 blah. And I'm like, hey man, whatever. It's it's on you. Whatever happens.
So I see you guys like you're like gym buddies, man. How long have you known each other for?
So funny enough, when I got left, so this is where it's life is so funny, because when I got released from WWE NXT, I took like a year off from doing any pro wrestling, and I got back into it slowly. And my first like triple threat match ever. I've never done any match that wasn't a tag or a singles.
Yeah.
So I go to SPW, and I'm in like a triple threat, and it's myself, a couple other guys, and Riv's in it. And this is probably like 4 or 5 years ago. I think it's 5 years ago. And Riv's like, "Hey man, you and I are gonna wrestle. Is there anything you want to do?" And I'm like, "Oh, I only know this and this." And he goes, "Okay, man. Hey, is it cool if I do a dive on you?" And I'm like, "Yeah." I'm thinking, I don't know dives or anything. Like, I don't know how to catch you or whatever. And he's like, "Oh, it's cool, man. Just keep your arms together and I'll do the rest." So I'm like, "Oh, all right, well, we'll do that." And so my first time ever catching someone on a dive, that was on Riv, and that was like 5 years ago. So I've known him for 5 years. And then my first singles match, actually my first hood slam match I've ever done was against Super Beast, and
Oh,
that was also 5 years ago. So funny enough, we all packed our shit up and moved to Vegas around the same time. So kind of a cool little story.
that's hella cool, man.
Yeah,
Fuck.
yeah, yeah.
What's it like out there? You haven't. Wait. When did you move to Vegas? Was it before or after
It
summer?
was just last. It's so far I've been here officially a year.
How was your first summer out there?
So it was my first. You know what? It was okay. The my AC bill was kind of through the roof, but other than that, not too bad.
Yeah, that's always been the thing that's deterred me. I fucking love Vegas. I mean, I wanted to live there. It's the tax situation's better than California.
People got to realize that there's more to Vegas than just the fucking strip. The strip's there, but the strip is for the tourists. When you live in Vegas, you don't go to the strip. That's like rule number one. Unless there's like people visiting or families visiting or friends visiting, then yeah, you can go to the strip. But for the most part, we don't go there. We drive past it, drive through it, but for the most part, you got Red Rock, you got the Art District, I live in Henderson, it's a very nice area, very suburban lifestyle. There's tons of stuff to do in Vegas besides go to the strip. I mean, if you're here and that's what you want to do, all power to you.
Yeah, I like eating off the strip a lot when I go out there. I had a chef that
Tons of
lived
good
there.
food. Tons of good food.
You ever been to what's it called? Hot and Juicy Crawfish?
I've heard of it, haven't gone to it yet.
Oh, it's good. What's
Yeah, I
what's
bet.
Where's the best Mexican food at out there in your opinion?
Oh, it's Sayulitas.
Ah, I seen that.
Sayulitas is our jam because they had one in San Diego. And funny enough, Riv was the one that was like, "Hey guys, you want to go check out Sayulitas? I used to live in San Diego and they had this bomb ass restaurant there. Now that it's in Vegas. And they got these big fucking burritos and they stuff them with from hot Cheetos to just everything you want. It's the best. I kind of want to go get some later.
That sounds fire. I know I seen
Dude, it's
some
good.
the meaty fries that they got.
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
The Pac-Man fries is the best. They have this sweetened pork that they put on it, and it's just like, oh, it's this Filipino sweetened pork. It's just it literally it's like it coming in your mouth. It's really good, dude.
Damn, gotta try
Yeah.
that shit for sure
Yeah.
next time I
When
head
you
out
go
there.
there, go to Sayulita, get the Pac-Man burrito or the Pac-Man loaded fries.
Hell
Bomb.
yeah.
Yeah.
Sayulita, shout out.
Yep.
And shit, man. I fucking I saw you, so you're 2-1 at Bloodsport right now.
Yep. Yeah.
You going back to Bloodsport?
Anytime they want, man. Um, I just feel like they're very New Japan happy right now, and which is cool. But me and Super Beast are kind of on the and Calder McCall. Us three are kind of like the underground guys. So if they want to bring us back in, all power to them. If they want to keep using the GCW guys, that's fine. Or if they want to keep using the New Japan guys, that's cool too. I mean, we're in our own little category. So if they want us to come back in, that's fine because I'll say this, and I don't give a fuck what anyone says. The only ones that are training against MMA guys is me and Super Beast and Calder. I train at Extreme Couture. I just trained with Tim Johnson, who just fought, Fedor.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, he ate a three-piece combo, but that's besides the point.
Yeah.
And then like I'm starting to train with Francis Ngannou at
Oh
Extreme
shit.
Couture. So it's like you can, and I just did open jiu-jitsu mat training at 10th Planet here in Vegas. for like an hour and 30 minutes of just open live grappling sparring.
That's fucking
So
sick.
yeah, so it's like if anyone, if anyone says that they do it, I know that I do it. I know Super Beast does it. I know that Calder does it. So if they want to bring in guys that know what the fuck they're doing, it's definitely us three and Tito, um, Bad Dude Tito as well. Which I was happy to see Bad Dude Tito take on the Eric Hammer, which was
Yeah.
a good match. Yeah,
That vibe at fucking
and Filthy Tom
Bloodsport.
Lawler. Filthy Tom Lawler, he's the best. I just had to include him. Don't want to leave him out.
Dude, that vibe there is so fucking different, like versus a lot of promotions. Like it's so serious and shit. Like it almost is like a deathmatch type vibe. Like, cause you're like, oh shit, there's about to be some like serious. It's a serious tone to it, you know.
Yeah,
Just the way the presentation and everything.
and the thing is, this is the thing about Bloodsport. If you get hit, that's the place where in pro wrestling, if you're doing like a regular pro match, you get hit hard, you can be kind of pissed off about it. I mean, obviously we do get hit hard, but it's like in Bloodsport, if you slap the guy and knock him on his ass, that's kind of the way it goes, you know. And it's like my first match against Eric Hammer. A lot of people don't know this, but our first connection, I slapped him. I legit knocked him out.
Damn.
So that's just kind of the way it is. It just happens.
Yeah. Jaw jacked.
So yeah. So it is. I love Bloodsport. Anytime they want to use me, by all means, I would love to come down there. I hopefully I talked to Moxley about him and I maybe going at it someday. Hopefully when he gets better, that could be something we could do. I would love it. Or take on, I don't care, anyone that I like Alex Calling. He's been doing the gut wrench stuff, and he took on Lawler. That was a great match. It's like, oh, you do a gut wrench, I do a gut wrench. Let's have a gut wrench battle. So there's tons of guys I'd love to compete against.
Yeah,
But as
that
far as
shit.
the ones doing it, training hard, it's me and Super Beast and Calder.
Yeah, man, that's sick that you guys got that little spot. Like you have that spot out there to where you're fucking the compound, dude. That shit is dope. Ugwa
Yeah,
went over there. That was when I first heard about it,
yeah.
and it for the Halloween Devil's Night event. And weren't there like 3 events going on that same night? Like there was a lot popping
There was
off.
a lot of wrestling. Like Keats Pro ran, I think FSW ran. So it wasn't, I mean, if you got your full share of wrestling that night. And I think if they changed the promo card up a little bit and threw me in there, I think a lot of people would have came. So, oh well.
What do you think about deathmatch wrestling? I haven't seen any death matches on your record. If I'm not correct, cage matches always fucked up and fucking up people's shit.
You know, I look at it this way. In a lot of the matches I do, if you need that shit to beat me, bless your heart, or you think otherwise it's like, I mean, I'm not for it, but nor am I against it,
Yeah.
you know. So, I'll bleed. I'm kind of like I'm one of those guys that like I have to be in the moment in order to want to do it.
Yeah.
So if someone hit me with a light tube, just don't tell me you're gonna do it. Just do it. That's the only way I can explain it. If I know it's gonna happen, I'm not gonna be down. I'll fight you. But if you do it when I don't expect it, I might have a little different reaction.
Yeah.
Or who
Well,
knows?
it's like a real big thing about the death matches is consent too between wrestlers. So, but then again, what has some unexpected shit ever happened to you in a match to where like, and I don't mean like a botch or anything, like just some
Sure.
shit that you didn't plan, like just like something memorable happened in a match.
Well, okay. So there's this one match I did for actually big time wrestling, and I was taking on Billy Gunn, and Billy Gunn and I were fighting on the outside. And this match I was really looking forward to because Billy Gunn used to coach me when I was in developmental,
Yeah.
and him and I are going at it, and he went to shoot me off, but then I Irish whipped him, and he's big. He's big. He's fucking huge. I Irish whip him into this like concrete wall, and we must have found the thinnest part of this fucking wall because he went through the fucking wall. And
Oh
I'm just like,
shit.
oh shit. And the building manager was pissed because the concrete wall was right next to the building manager's office. So not only did we
Oh
shatter the wall, but we fucked up his door.
yeah.
And luckily, those guys had like insurance on the building, so they were able to use the insurance to pay for it. But I'm just like, oh fuck, I'm gonna have to get a contractor or something, or someone who can do drywall to like fix this. I
Yeah.
was like, really, because I was the one that initiated the move. So, and I know Billy Gunn's like not gonna pay for it, but yeah, it was a reverse whip. Boom, we smashed this wall. He goes through it. He's a big fuck. He's a Clydesdale. So that was one of those like, oh fuck, that was not expected.
Jesus Christ, man. Like,
Yeah.
but did the crowd fucking pop like
it,
fucking crazy?
it was, I think they're just like startled more than anything. They didn't,
Yeah,
I think
they're
if it
like,
was
oh
a
shit.
more hardcore fan base, they would have been like said the holy shit and all that kind of stuff. But I mean, I don't, it was like just some regular people from Salinas, California watching. If it was like anywhere else, I think they would have reacted like crazy, you know. But that's just kind of the way it is. You can't pick and choose what kind of crowds you're gonna have.
Yeah, all you can do is put on the best show you can and fucking fill those seats, man. Try to fill
Absolutely,
those seats, you know.
absolutely.
That's fucking nuts. Like, so you've been uh how many matches have you done in the last year? Because, like I said, cage match is all fucked up. It looks like you've been pretty fucking active since making your return at
You know,
Bloodsport.
it's as far as this year goes, this year hasn't been that eventful. I mean, we're just starting to get out of the COVID era
Yeah,
of pro wrestling, which we weren't getting anything other than empty house shows. I mean, it's not much, it's nothing to brag about. Um, I'm hoping 2022, I definitely get more. I think my third year in the Indies, I was booked at least 3 times a week. And I'm hoping to do that again eventually, at least mid 2022. Just stay as active as possible doing the Indies. I mean, you just never know. So it wasn't much this year. Definitely not much. I can't really say how many matches, but it wasn't as much as I'd hoped for. And I had some stuff I had to work out too, some things, some personal stuff. So I feel like going to 2022, it's going to be a lot. It's going to be definitely more eventful, and you're going to see a really good version of myself. That's for sure.
yeah, hell yeah, man. I mean, you've been
Mhm.
going up against fucking great talent, on the indie circuit, since returning. Have you ever wrestled the Caution, or would you do a match with the
I've
Caution?
wrestled Dark Sheik a handful of times, and I wrestled Anton too.
Yeah,
Never in a tag with them together. That would be interesting. So I'm not against it. It's funny enough, I wrestled Sheik as my old persona as Calabunga Bishop when I was in developmental. So that was a fun match.
that's
And
hella
she's
cool.
she's doing great on her own right now too. So
Oh yeah,
all
Sheik
the
is
yeah
fucking legend.
yeah
Like,
yeah
yeah, man.
she's doing very
That's
well.
that's awesome to be in the California scene too. I know it was hit the hardest for, all wrestlers during the pandemic, but like, being part of that, like, and then meeting the people that you meet, like, would you trade it for being somewhere with hella action and hella bookings during that time?
I think we all would, but that's kind of not an excuse because like I look at like Super Beast. He managed to have the most productive COVID era wrestling out of anybody I've seen. Between him and a couple guys, they really busted their ass to be able to be seen and take advantage of their look. And Super Beast definitely represents that hustle more than anyone. So, he was getting flown out to Asia. He was getting flown out to Japan. He was getting flown out to Mexico. He got flown out to Puerto Rico. He has stayed more active than anybody I can think of on a guy who's done everything off his own terms, which I give all the respect in the world to.
Yeah, he's a trip, man. Like
Mm-hmm.
Boss Man Slash said it himself. He's a fucking walking action figure. He's a living He-Man, you know,
Oh,
like
for sure, for sure.
yeah, that dude's a monster, man. I was there when he wrestled Dave Dutra at UGWA, and they came out and wrestled up in the bar, and that was holy crap, man. I was like, this dude is massive.
Oh
Like
yeah, big
and
guy.
yeah, seeing like after I like looked more into what he's doing and shit, I was like, oh yeah, he's dedicated. He's about it, you know.
Absolutely, absolutely. He's the man, dude. We love him to death.
Yeah, fuck, man. So you're out there now. You've been on a lot of drives. Do you generally drive more or fly more when you're doing when you're like going places and shit?
I think right now it's like 70% driving and then 30% flying. Um, you know, I hoping within, this like I'm getting flown out to Florida pretty soon for a show. And then like last year I got flown out for GCW for Bloodsport, and I got flown out for an AEW thing. And then I'm gonna get flown out in a month. So I think it just depends. Um, yeah. Oh, funny enough, Gil keeps calling me as the Super Beast.
Oh
So
shit.
I'll answer that later.
Super Beast.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
His ears were ringing.
yeah, yeah. His ears perked up when he said I brought up his name.
Yeah. Fucking so you're on the so being on the road, you ever see any UFOs out there, man?
Any weird shit as far as I've seen? Not so much.
You ever have any
Um,
paranormal experiences? Like ghosts or
okay,
anything?
when I lived in Florida, I did. Vegas, not so much. I think our house was haunted in Florida, but I mean, but not so much in Vegas, really. I think like there is, I forget the dude's name, but there's that haunted museum that you can walk into. The dude from the Discovery Channel is the one that like owns the building. I don't remember the name though. It's like I can't tell you. But as far as like paranormal, I live in like a very nice suburban neighborhood, so we don't really see a lot of wacky shit. I mean, I have a couple wacky neighbors, but that's about it.
Yeah.
So couldn't tell you.
Yeah, that shit's crazy, man.
Yeah,
I've seen a couple UFOs, and I want to believe, but I don't know. I feel like it's
I
too.
think it's better to believe. I
Yeah,
don't see why people should deny it. I think it because eventually it's going to come true. I believe there is shit out there, and what's the point of denying it? You might as well like embrace the wacky and the unknown, because every time people, oh, no, that's not true, or they'll say it is true, but they're all trying to cover up. I'm like, fuck, I'm just gonna believe it. Why not? Who cares? So
yeah,
that's how I feel about
absolutely.
it. Yeah,
That's
yeah,
the way, man. Like what did my boy say? This guy Mike from Warflirt, he came on here and he said, "I don't believe in shit." And I said, "Why not?" And he said, "I don't believe in anything because I barely know anything because I've only been here for such a tiny amount of
yeah,
time.
yeah.
So I'm open to, see anything or accept anything as as my reality, but I don't
Sure.
believe that it's real." And I was like, "Whoa, you just mind fucked me, man."
I'm with that too. It's funny because everything stems from some kind of experience. Every weird belief of whatever, why are the ideas? Here's what I look at. Why is the concept of a fucking dragon? Why are dragons all over the place? And it's like if these people back then dig up these fossils and they see this big ass dinosaur head and they just assume it's a fucking dragon. That's just the only, my only weird comparison I can think of.
Yeah, and they're probably giant fucking birds for all we know,
Exactly,
you know?
exactly. We don't know.
Yeah, that shit's crazy, man.
And I know I'm not too far from Area 51.
Yeah.
Like it's just literally up the road. So I guarantee there's some wacky shit that goes on.
Oh yeah. No, dude, they got my thing about the government though is I don't think they're smart enough to like keep secrets from so many people, like I feel like I mean shit, every time there's always like these big whistleblowers that come out and like expose a whole bunch of shit and have proof to back it up, and it's like With aliens, that's too big of a secret. Like, we got politicians that don't even know how to work a phone or a computer, let alone keep a secret from the age of the internet, you know?
I mean, I think there's always, it's like think of the Wizard of Oz, man. There's always someone behind the curtain. Um, Sometimes everything's just a front for something else. So that's kind of my own thought process on the government and the media. So, it's I just assume it's like here's the way I look at it. It's like when you look at the dirt sheets for like a big company that they talk about all the fucking time, like WWE or AEW. All those rumors and everything stem from some type of truth. So, and for the majority of the time, the rumors are right. So that's kind of the way I look at it.
Did you see, and you don't got to name any names, but did you see any funny shit happening when you were, up there in NXT?
Uh, I
I know
mean,
that's a rough question to ask.
no, it's not. It's not. I could not really. I think a lot of I think a lot of those are like big fish stories. If that makes sense. Um, I don't. I think people blew a lot of that stuff out of proportion. I just know that being an OG of the group that came from FSW to the Performance Center, a lot of that was just more about presentation than anything. So it was really, really, really hard to get training when you're being showcased as the next level talent. And then by the time you're getting the opportunity, for me, example, I got hurt. So I didn't have the chance to really focus on training as much as I wanted to. But as far as like any wacky shit, not really. I mean, they were trying to showcase how great the PC is, and now the PC is just a building where they film NXT now. So that I haven't seen anything, nothing out of the ordinary. Not for
Yeah.
me.
How do you feel about like being a more did you feel like when you were there you were more so being developed to be a character, handed to you versus having complete freedom? And then also in the indies, do you prefer that level of freedom, or are you just like I can I'm adaptable to whatever you want to throw at me and make that shit happen? Like, or do you have that passion for that, like being the story?
I think what companies really need to do more that I learned from WWE is like we talked about earlier, is like setting up that story to get people more invested and involved, but do it the right way. So for me, it's like you when I was in WWE, everything is very, very micromanaged. You can't do a wrist hold without it running by somebody. At least that's what it was like when I was there. I think they kind of let off the reins quite a bit now with how the level of wrestling they do compared to what I was when I was there. But for example, like for the most part, it's like the indies is great because it's not super structured, but you don't want the guys to kind of take full control of the wrestling and everything. You want everything to at least, like this is your time. If you want to hit this, sure, but don't go ape shit crazy. Don't break all the chairs because that's coming out of your PO. Don't do this, don't do that. Like, be at least at least work within the lines. That's kind of my mindset with the indies because so far in my wrestling, I'm just working within the lines. Um, the one thing that I liked about WWE, it was micromanaged, but I like the idea that learning about your character, the concept of your character, uh, and how do you implement your character in the ring, and eventually you have to learn how to wrestle like your character. That was always the challenging part when I was there, but now being on the indies, I have more free range on how I want to present myself, and there's more freedom and there's more comfortability working on the indies because there's no pressure, but a little bit of pressure always helps. That's kind of how I always view things.
Yeah. Do you get an adrenaline dump when you get in there when you first walk out, or did you ever get an adrenaline dump going out to do that?
I
Like feel
think
shaky and shit, like whew, you know what I mean?
I feel like you have all these nerves that built up before a match because you're more worried about like a lot of guys they go from A B C D in their matches. But I feel like the best matches are the ones where you just say, all right, what's the cutoff? What's your comeback? And what's the finish? I feel like if you leave everything so open ended that you don't, that puts no pressure. At that point, you're just communicating, talking. If you go step for step for step for step, you have a better chance of wrestling more robotic and you don't seem authentic. And then that makes it way more stressful. If someone's like, hey, just meet me out there and this is my finish, I would much rather do that. There's way less stress. You don't have to memorize anything. At that point, we're wrestling to react, not wrestling to act. So I like when we don't call a lot. We just have a few little things and then we just go out there and work. And that's what pro wrestling should be. A lot of times everything's very choreographed and everything's very thought out and planned out. But the best is when you don't have anything planned except for the finish.
Yeah, it's like that. Everyone has that. I gotta do a 5-star match shit, and it's like, that. I don't know. You're right. It doesn't feel organic. Like I've seen some dope shit, come out of some wrestlers that where it's like they're doing a dance almost. But
Yeah. Like I'm cool with like the leg kick, head kick, whatever, all that shit. Because there is a time and place to bust that out. But if you do it every single match, and that's what you're known for, and then that's the thing. Because some people, I'm just gonna say this, some promoters love that shit, where that's the only thing they want to see is we want to see you. And then there's other promoters that like the blood sport style. Or there's promoters that like a more shoot base or a more not so called heavy. But I mean, it sucks because a lot of guys are getting bookings based off that choreographed style shit, which, I don't do that. That's not my thing. You're going to see me. Between me and a couple of guys, we're like a very few old school, call it in the ring kind of guys. And that's the way I was taught. But
yeah,
that's not the way we used to do things on TV. So, it all just depends. But a lot of promoters like that choreograph style wrestling, which it's not my thing.
yeah, the Gonzo approach is a trip. Like fucking, they say like Dusty Rhodes never scripted anything too. Like even when he was doing promos, everything was off the hip, off the cuff, and it's like, I think that like what do you think about that? Are there any guys that do that kind of shit where they like cut a promo and it's literally all unplanned? Like, and I'm talking about that side of the sport too.
I think majority of the guys in the indies don't necessarily cut promos that they have. Like a lot of we do rehearse things in our head. Like I know if I'm 90% of the time when I cut a promo, especially if they let me cut a promo. A lot of promotions don't do that.
Really?
Yeah, not enough. That's PPW. They do let you cut promos. I love PPW. You can cut a fucking promo there. It's great. Because that's how you get your personality out. That's how you show a character. So it's like Dusty had this larger in life persona and this personality. You give the guy a mic and he's making money. So that's how you can gravitate to a guy like him. Nowadays it's like guys are afraid to speak. They're afraid to talk and be like themselves, and they just would rather be safe and choreograph a match. I've seen it a few times. I'm not gonna say names, but I've seen it locally quite a bit.
Yeah.
Where guys can go out there and they could do step for step, move for move, all this like choreograph stuff. But then the time you give them a microphone, they're stuttering. They can't even, it's hard enough for them to put a full sentence together. So that's the part that bothers me. But
Yeah.
me, no, I cut a promo, dude. I say what's on my mind. I say how I want to say it. And if I can hear a reaction out of what I say from the people watching, then it's like it don't matter what I say at that point. At that point, it's all your own internal character that you get to share with the people that want to be entertained by you.
Yeah, those are the moments that I think I remember the most, versus like certain spots and shit. Like I remember, I'll never forget the second time I saw Dark Sheik wrestle. She cut a promo on Dave Dutra, and I fucking cried. I was like, it just so deeply emotionally resonated with me.
Sure.
and it was just like the craziest shit I ever saw, and I was like, holy fuck. I think I've never marked out harder at any for any wrestling. Maybe since I was like a little kid when I saw like fucking what was it? When I saw like Stone Cold destroy Vince McMahon's car with the fucking
Sure.
beer truck or whatever, or no, the
Yeah.
cement truck.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like that moment that happened, and it was even crazier because I was right there. Like fuck, man, that in that moment I was like, Dark Sheik is my favorite wrestler, like of all fucking time.
That's
Like,
awesome.
like it just clicked like that. So it's a total trip, dude. Like you guys fucking work magic. You put your fucking bodies on the line. You're all built different for sure. You know, like fuck, man. Came back from that injury with a fucking chip on your shoulder, ready to fuck shit up too. So like it's your career so far has been fucking phenomenal. And what is your penultimate goal? Like
It
where do you
it
retire?
it changes all the time. Um, I've talked to WWE this past year. I've talked to AEW. I've met with guys that work with Impact. Um, you know, I've talked to, and it's one of those things where it's like, if you have something you want to do with me, then let's do it. If you don't and you're just sitting on your hands confused, then that's on you guys. That's not on me. And I don't care if guys are saying, well, no, 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 that's on you because of blah, blah, blah. It's like, no, fuck that. You know what I can bring to the table. You know what I'm good at. You know what I do. And if you guys are too afraid to bring me in, and that goes for any fucking promotion, then because you're afraid that I can throw around your champ, I could throw around anybody, then I don't fucking have to be nice about it. I was just being honest about it. And because in this business, the one thing that we're starting to lose is the ability to carry yourself like a pro athlete, like a professional. Guys want to just be friends wrestling, and I don't want to be friends wrestling. This business friendship doesn't it just to me doesn't produce dollars. You have to have a little chip on your shoulder. You have to be pissed. And that's the type of competitiveness you need. And a lot of the times, I want everyone to succeed. I had the opportunity to bring a couple guys up to PPW because I see money in them. I see opportunity for not just them, but for the company. Everything should have a purpose. I'm not just because I like them. I mean, fuck, I like a lot of people, but I'm not going to give everyone opportunity. So to me, my ultimate goal is just to expand my brand. And the thing that guys have to think of is that AEW, Impact, WWE, you just want to go there to build your brand because at the end of the day, we all have an expiration date. And if you get cut or let go from one of those companies, do you just call it quits or do you expand your brand? And expand your brand doesn't mean just pro wrestling. It could be anything. It could be launch a podcast show, launch a YouTube show. It could be you have an idea for a TV show, an idea for, motivational speaking. It could be literally anything. But, I look at someone like Mojo, for example. Mojo got let go from WWE, but he wanted his release because he had an idea to develop something that would further not only his pro wrestling career, but further other people's careers and just entertainment. So I kind of look at that as an example of what you want your career to be when it's all said and done. And I think a lot of guys have to keep that in mind because it's, for me, I'll go anywhere. If I can just build up my name, Caljack, and my own personal brand, then that's success to me. It doesn't necessarily mean I need to be signed anywhere, but if I can have an opportunity to wrestle in Japan, great. Mexico, great. Go to Europe, Germany, England, and then just kind of expand around. Like I like the Bruiser Brody approach to pro wrestling the most. Minus some of the politics and his attitude towards things, but that attitude that he carried, that's the one I kind of admire.
Hell yeah, man. And that's the thing too. Like I was hearing somebody tell me like cuz they're talking about getting called to AEW to do a couple matches and like do two TV appearances, and it was Nasty Leroy, and he
Sure.
was like, he said I went out there, they had me wrestle once, and then they had me standing holding a sign, and they like cut to me, and he said he sounded like kind of disappointed, like that was it. And then someone else chimed in and said, look, Do you want to be the guy that loses every week on AEW and then you go back to the indies where people are like, promoters are like, "Damn, what are you doing now?" Like, you lose stock and or you go there, you get some killer shots, you get some great pictures, you're like, "Hey, I was here," and then you bring that to your next promotion you want to go to and then use that as leverage.
I think that's the thing that guys have to keep in mind. Wherever you go, if you do extra work for AEW, WWE, and they told me this both places, your job is not to get over. Your job is to help someone get over.
Yeah.
So you go there, know what you're getting yourself into, and carry yourself any way you want at that point because you represent you more than anybody. And I went to both places, and you know, I don't really give a fuck what they think or say. It's just as long as they know what they're getting, because at the end of the day, with both my experiences, I only had people being like, why would they use you that way? And that's all I'm going to kind of say for both those spots.
Yeah. That's
You know,
reasonable.
that's just the way I look at it. You should know what the fuck you're getting with the guy that you're using, and for me, I'm 6'6", 300 pounds. I'm a former Division I All-American. I'm now training with some of the baddest fucking dudes in MMA at one of the top premier programs because they asked me to go there and train.
Yeah.
They got my number and brought me in. I can train, I can go with Francis, Tim Johnson. I can go grab with any of those guys at any time I want, faster than any booking I can get because real always recognizes real. And if promotions, big companies want to play games, and that they play games. That's on them. And for the kids that want to go to those companies and kiss ass as much as they need to get a booking, then that's their prerogative. It's not mine.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I mean, shit. I'd see if I saw you in there, I'd just see you squash matching motherfuckers like they had Moxley doing on AEW,
Sure, sure. And
running
I
in there.
train with Moxley too. Moxley's my dude. So,
Yeah.
and he gets it as well. And so that's the part. Even he said to me, he's like, I don't know why, blah blah blah. He even questioned a lot of the shit. So, and he's a real dude, and I hope he gets better. I'm looking forward when he gets out of rehab and all that stuff.
Yeah. Hell yeah, man. Well,
Mm-hmm.
fuck. I guess. How you doing on time? You about to do the other thing? Huh?
Oh, no worries, brother. We could send off here right now and call it good. So far, I'm really enjoying this conversation.
Right on, dude. Yeah. Fucking. Death matches and death metal brought to you by Night Shift Merchandise, baby. Thank you so much, Papa Kareem. Well, Papa Trev, all the papas. Fuck, man. You got a match coming up in January, and where is it? I have.
So it'll be at the Super Beach training compound. I believe I'm taking on Nino Black, Jordan Cruz, and Stone Edge. I hope I got his name right. Um, all great guys. Really love Nino Black's work. I really love Jordan Cruz's work. Stone Edge is training with some of the best dudes. I think he's training with Connor from the Ascension, who I really love. Connor is one of my favorite people, so he's going to be a really great opponent. Unfortunately for all three of those guys, they're each getting a gut wrench whether they can stop me or not. Not going to happen. So, oh, there you go. Oh, it's Jackson Stone. My mistake. So, yeah, you have Edge Stone as a wrestler in Texas who I love to death. So, yeah, there you go. It's Jordan Cruz, Jackson Stone, Nino Black, and the Grizzly Cow Jack. And those guys are going to get tossed around whether they want to or not. Or I'll hit them with a drop kick, barrel roll, or something, or just all my good shit that nobody can do at my size.
Yeah, man, that shit is insane, man. Speaking of moves like that, you did talk about Kid Bandit. How you feel about Kid Bandit, man? That dude's fucking popping right now.
You know what? Kid Bandit is a man who paved his own way. And if someone told Kid Bandit, the only advice I can give you is take no advice. He's doing it, but he's doing it his own way, and he's getting his own, publicity, and he's getting his own popularity out of it. So if anyone who doesn't admire Kid Bandit, they're just jealous of him because I admire him. I love Kid Bandit. When I first saw him, I was just like so on the ball with him. I'm like, I don't know if I like this. And then the kid is so endearing and he works so hard and he knows how to build a brand in the best way very fast. So I give him like a lot of respect. I really do love Kid Bandit, and he's very endearing. So when when I have a chance to do something that I know he would do, I'm going to share and tell him. I'm going to say that, hey man, how's this?
Yeah, I fucking heard him. He was like in a Spaces on Twitter, and he was saying, he said something about, yeah, I still do free shows. He said I'm paying my dues. I'm still just breaking in there, and I wanted to chime in. I couldn't speak because they don't let me speak in a lot of spaces because nobody
Sure.
knows who the hell I am in spaces. But yeah, I was like, yo, I wanted to tell him, fucking bro, you have it. You gotta establish that value because the product you're bringing is so fucking fire. His
He
brand is,
yeah, I don't know how long he's been wrestling,
I
but
think he's been a year and a half or something like
yeah,
that.
I mean that's his prerogative. Um, Me personally, I wouldn't do that, but like I said, it's to each his own. Obviously, with our backgrounds and stuff, I mean, we all went through a different way to get to where we are, and if he's getting where he is with what he's doing, then I can't say anything. So I wish him nothing but the best.
Hell yeah, yeah, real shit. Spoken like a true vet and fucking future champion of your favorite promotion, motherfucking Caljack. And did you know you're in Fire Pro Wrestling?
In Fire Pro, no.
Yeah, they put on Fire Pro Wrestling World. You're not like officially in it, but fucking someone made you, and they put you on the internet. And it's funny because I'm gonna do a live stream of you versus Kid Bandit,
Oh,
just for
I have no
shits.
idea. I don't even know what Fire Pro is, so that's kind of cool.
Yeah, dude, they created hella people from Hood Slam. I was like, what the fuck? They have the caution. They have they create like alternate costumes of like everybody's different shit. It's crazy, man. I just
Really?
discovered it all
It's
last
called
night.
Fire Pro Wrestling?
Yeah, on PlayStation and
Oh,
PC.
no way.
Yeah,
I gotta
Fire
check that
Pro
out.
Wrestling World. I was tripping off of it. I just discovered it last night and was up downloading
Did they
everybody.
spell Cowjack right? How do they spell the name?
Let me see. I'll pull it up real quick and show
Yeah, let
you.
me see that. I'm kind of curious because they butcher the name, and I get a kick out of it. Um,
Let's see. No, they spelled it right. Here, I'm pulling it
with
up right
no
now.
C's. Let me see that. You can pull it up. I gotta take a gander at this.
So here you are.
Oh, that's funny. I saw a little bit.
Oh shit. I'm trying to get on the right one.
Is that Dan from Mortal Kombat? Is that what I've
Uh,
amounted to Dan?
I think that's the guy that made you
Oh, okay. I was gonna say,
in
man,
there.
I'm not a Dan. Dan's horrible.
Oh yeah, no, Dan's trash, man.
Yeah.
I actually like really was into Street Fighter and I was trying to get good with Dan just to beat people online and I fucking could not do it. Like he's just so bad. But yeah, there you are, man. Fire Pro.
That's cool. I'm gonna have to check that out.
Yeah, that shit was
Very cool.
crazy.
That's funny. Oh, that's sweet.
But yeah, so thank you so much for coming on. Everybody follow Caljack. Show him some love. Buy his shirts. They're all in the fucking link beneath. If you see him coming to a local event, nah, fuck it. If you see him anywhere, fly out. You want to watch Caljack fucking slam some motherfuckers, jump from the ground to his feet. That shit is crazy. Seeing a big dude do that, I was like, what the fuck? You're a fucking walking ninja, man.
I try my best to be a Swiss Army knife out there, man. Got a lot of little tricks I can do.
Yeah, hell yeah. And I'm looking forward to the highlights. And everybody, this is Death Matches and Death Metal, brought to you by Night Shift Merchandise.